What's going on, YouTubers? For ladies and gentlemen, it's the natural, scary thriller, and welcome everyone to All Elite Wrestling Review, the show from October 15th, 2021, where it tends to give you first AEW Rampage, the buy-in results before we get to Rampage itself. So this buy-in happened around, I'm assuming around 9 p.m. Cause I thought it was gonna be like around 9:30 p.m. when they first announced this about maybe a week ago or so. But then they started, I guess they decided ahead of time. I don't know. Maybe it was around this coming week, like in the middle of the week, where they announced some cards of the show to be on the buy-in of Rampage, where it tends to go up against WWE SmackDown, and that's basically what it was, or why the whole buy-in was ended up being a thing in the first place. Is AEW Rampage competing against SmackDown Live, WWE SmackDown to say the least. So, where it tends to on YouTube, it was the AEW Rampage buy-in. As far as TNT, we get the other Rampage show. They're in Miami, Florida for this one. And your commentators were Excalibur, Taz, and Ricky Starks. So we start off with the match with Tyconti being accompanied by Anna Jay versus Santana Garrett. And all I can say is Santana Garrett looks lovely. And we get this match between Tyconti versus Santana Garrett. Both of them matched up pretty well. Both of them went back and forth in the match. And all I can say is that Santana Garrett was booked way better than how WWE booked her, where it her being on NXT and on the main roster. What the fuck does that tell you about how Santana Garrett is being used or to her value? She's felt more valuable in AEW more than she ever did in WWE. Cause I remember Santana Garrett coming to WWE at the going on NXT. She wasn't really signed with them, but they amused her to be an enhancement talent, and basically having her getting squashed every time, not getting any type of offense whatsoever, which just pisses me off because Santana Garrett is fucking good. And I thought that she wanted to work for that company, and she at one point did work for that company until they decided to kick her to the curb. And I think she was one of those cuts this year, if I'm not mistaken. So to see how Tyconti and Santana Garrett having that in this match. I think they had a match before too in WWE over to the NXT portion of it. I think they might have they might not have. Don't quote me on that. I'm assuming that's what they had a match before. But if they did, it was way better than how AEW presented here than what WWE presented pertains to having Tyconti and Santana Garrett on the show here. So yeah, this match was good, with obviously Tyconti winning the match. Now I don't know if Santana Garrett wants to be part of AEW after this. I know who else will be part of AEW after this, which we'll get to that eventually. But after what she did here in this match against Tyconti, she looked very impressive, and hopefully AEW gets a second look of her and decides to sign her. Basically they need a lot of women's rosters on there that could be on that level to impress and to also outstage these other AEW women's like Penelope Ford, the Bunny, and a few others I can't think of right now that's not doing it for any of us. Santana Garrett's that damn good. Hopefully she gets another shot, another look at AEW or returns to this, because she can contribute a lot. We see the American Top Team and the Inner Circle, build up for the main event match. We'll get to that when we get to it. or retains to the TNT portion of it. Also, we get to, another package where it retains to Bobby Fish. They talk about the whole match, the matches that Bobby Fish and Lee Morali are going to be having, which is to the MLW Opera Cup opening round tournament. And this is now no, it is that's what it was, which is to MLW, Major League Wrestling. I don't know if that was the case, because I didn't really pay attention to to the video package of that whatsoever. Only paying attention to one video package of this show, which I'll get to when I get to it. And it's being the main event of the buy-in for Rampage. But yeah, Bobby Fish, the infamous Bobby Fish, versus Lee Morali. My first time ever seeing Lee Morali against Bobby Fish in this match. Basically, my first time even hearing about Lee Morali, and seeing his performance against Bobby Fish. It was a back and forth action between these two guys, and with his style of pro wrestling, or what he can contribute, he impressed me. And in fact, he was so impressive that AEW thought he was very impressive too, to a point where the AEW added this match in a losing effort against Bobby Fish. Because at the end of the day, Bobby Fish won the match. But yeah, Bobby Fish got the win with the KO running. I mean the KO roundhouse kick, I should say, onto Lee Morali. And yeah, Bobby Fish got the win to advance, to the next. Again, I don't know if this was the tournament match or not, which is the MLW's portion of it, but I digress. Maybe it's just a sample or a taste of what it's going to be, pertains to the MLW Opera Cup tournament. So, but AEW was so impressive of him too, where it pertains to Lee Morali, that they decided to sign him too. So basically, Lee Morali is also all elite. Now you're probably gonna see on much of him on Dark and Dark Elevations. Hopefully, he'll get the opportunity to wrestle on the TV's audition for Dynamite and Rampage on TNT. But we shall see, because I think he's pretty good. So there you go. Nothing to say about that. Then we see a video package highlighting Bryan Danielson's career with the company of AEW. It's about his all out debut, and with him being all about pro wrestling. And then transmit into the king of pro wrestling in Minoru Suzuki, which is his biggest challenge yet in AEW. And I never knew these guys wrestled before too, by the way. Which is to Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson. I'm assuming it was in Japan during that time. I'm assuming, because Bryan Danielson has been wrestling a lot in Japan, plenty of times. And basically this is the second time wrestling each other. Now again, I don't know which is Excalibur talking about this, or Taz, or whichever of the two, are talking about how it's the second time wrestling each other. It's hard for me to believe that. Really hard for me to really believe that, especially during that time when Bryan Danielson was wrestling in Japan a lot. But I digress. But yeah, it was the king of pro wrestling, Minoru Suzuki, versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. So yes, so the match started, and before they even touch, man, let me pull up this chant that these guys did. Holy shit chant. Yes, yes, yes. This is awesome chant. And then they touch. They start touching and all that, pretends to battling it out. And they were doing some wrestling. Some grapple wrestling and all that, to the point where crowds were chanting, "This is wrestling." And Taz put that over, pertains to the crowds chanting, "This is wrestling." And then when Suzuki got on the better of Bryan Danielson in the match, where the crowds were chanting, "No, no, no," and then these crowds out of nowhere, after Bryan Danielson Suzuki I guess they were, having a stare down, where a stalemate. The crowds were chanting, "C, C, C." And then, pertains to, having the better of the offense between both guys. Crowds were chanting, "Let's go, Brian Suzuki! Let's go, Brian Suzuki!" Minoru Suzuki and Bryan Danielson were trading shots at one point, and then we had this one shot that Minoru Suzuki did that he's always known of doing, where it tends to these elbow strikes to the side of the face of his opponents. He did to Bryan Danielson, and Bryan Danielson sold it like he got killed. Basically, when Minoru Suzuki does this and he does this, and then oh my god. Bryan Danielson got back up. He got back up though, and he starts hammering at Minoru Suzuki, and then Minoru Suzuki got the better of Bryan Danielson, and basically it ends up being back and forth between the two guys. My god, this was what pro wrestling was all about after seeing all this, and they kept trading shots and all that, and they kept going from moves after moves to each other. Mechanical eliminations was mused by Bryan Danielson, but Minoru Suzuki wasn't all the way on his stomach, so he was playing smart there. A blood lock was put on, but not all the way. Since Bryan Danielson trying to get the better extend to the submission. But they were having at it, man. Kicks after kicks and all that, and smashing elbows after smashing elbows. My god, it was insane. And Minoru Suzuki trying to get for the sweeper, for the Godstyle Power Driver, in the way where they kept counter after counter and all that. Like it was about an exchange of counters afterwards. Before even all that even happened, you also got a chant of "Fight forever" for these crowds. Fight forever. And they finally get to a point where Minoru Suzuki's trying to get the better of Bryan Danielson and all that, and then he gets double cycle knee from Bryan Danielson and got the win. So, what a match! What a 5-star match this was. The only thing that I'm upset about this whole thing, why the fuck was this not on TNT? Look, I'm glad I saw the match too. I'm glad I seen this match on the buy-in. It was a good show, by the way. The buy-in leading up to to the show on TV. Basically pertains to AEW Rampage. But why the fuck would you not have this on TNT instead of giving us nothing personal, no disrespect, but giving us CM Punk versus Matt Sydal that I didn't really care for. I mean, I still watched the match though, but I feel like I was I just feel like this is the best you got. If you want them to have the show, that's fine. You still could have this matchup though, but there's other matches too that should have been on TNT as well, which I'll get to it when I get to it. And then what things will happen afterwards. We're like, yeah, that should not have been on the show. So there you go. So then we get to the actual show on TNT. Continuing on of Rampage. Because at this point the buy-in was over. CM Punk versus Matt Sydal. That match, of what I've seen, it was pretty good. Not much I can say from there, other than it was pretty good. But CM Punk won, which it was expected. The GTS. Also, we get to see the Dark Order. That they're talking about how they're so happy that the Hangman Page is back, and they won a match with Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, and they are eager to hear their replies to the Super Click. So we'll see how that turns out. Here's the match I was talking about. This is no disrespect to Ruby Soho. She's good. She's always been good, and she always have a place on TNT to wrestle. Not with the bunny. Because why the fuck should I care about the bunny wrestling on TNT? Where you gonna just have her wrestle on the buy-in? Yeah, so I thought that was disappointing. Ruby Soho was good. The bunny, decent. I didn't think she did too bad, but she was decent. But Ruby Soho was good. She got the win on the bunny. After the match, Penelope Ford attacks her from the ramp, beats her up, gets in the ring, as Ruby Soho is being hoisted up. Penelope Ford with the brass knuckles punches out Ruby Soho. Should have been on the buy-in. This had no place on the show whatsoever. Now, before we move on, next Rampage show, the TBS Women's Championship Tournament brackets will be announced. I cannot wait to see who's gonna be in it. Because I'm relieved that the match between Jade Cargill versus Sky Blue was not the part of that tournament thing. So it was just a warm up I guess in a way. I don't know. I don't know what it was about, but I guess it was to give Sky Blue an opportunity on TNT. Maybe. Who knows? Oh, and speaking of which, of tournaments, we're also going to announce the Full Gear World Title Eliminator Tournament that begins too, by the way, but it's going to be announced that the brackets is going to be announced on Dynamite, which I can't wait to see that one. And the main event, Pac versus Andrade El Idolo 2. That should be the main event, and it better be the main event. But that's a big problem with AEW right now. The placements of the matches should not should be booked and be presented better on pertains to the lineups of the card. And tonight was I should say tonight and pertains to this Rampage, it was basically no different. Bryan Danielson and Brando Suzuki should have been on the show. Not saying it should have been the main event. If you wanted to have that main event, which I'll get to when I get to it, you want to have that as a main event, that's fine. Pertains to how they build this up with something with Inner Circle and American Top Team, whatever, that's fine. However, you should open the show with Minoru Suzuki and Bryan Danielson. Then you can open up with CM Punk, and then you had your main event. CM Punk versus Matt Sydal, and then and then open your main event with the trios match, which we'll get to it. But as far as Pac and Andrade El Idolo, should be a main event. Now let's get to the main event. The main event will feature the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho and Jake Hager, with also the TNT champion Sammy Guevara going up against middle of the year of Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and the debuting in AEW former UFC World Heavyweight Champion Junior Dos Santos. And they're being accompanied by Dan Lambert, excuse me, and Jorge Masvidal. I'm assuming that's his name. I don't know. If to all you fans of this guy, I apologize, but I watch much UFC to know his name, to pronounce his name. So I'm sorry. Dan Lambert covered promo, but the crowds were booing him like to the point where I could barely hear what he was trying to say. Yeah, he's got that type of heat. It's basically go away heat, basically. Kind of like Big Girl heat that she had in WWE, where go away heat, boom her massively where they don't want to hear her talk. So as far as Junior Dos Santos, I thought he did right in this match. I wouldn't mind seeing him again in the ring, to see what and he took some bumps that he shouldn't be taking, but he did, because it was a prop table spot that Jake Hager slammed through a table. It was cool seeing that happening. But besides that, I think he did right in the match. Against Jericho, Hager, and Guevara. But the match happens, back and forth, other teams. And be honest with you folks, I don't really care much about this show, about this main event match. Because to me, the whole American Top Team has really lost its steam. Where it could have been good, it could have been better, it could have been great. But they did this time where it made no sense, especially when we had Lance Archer, involved in this whole thing, and then he's not involved in it anymore because they got him. So somebody may not get that by the way. Pertains the Asylum show. I won't say Asylum show. Pertains to the Dynamite live reaction show where we did when Lance Archer got attacked by Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page middle of the year to be to join along with American Top Team, where Lance Archer got beat up on stage. When he's trying to go after American Top Team in the ring, and then when it was lower, he was kneeling, trying to get back up, and he's like, they got me. They got him. You also had the American Top Teams in the crowd too as well, which it led to a distraction where Paige Van Zandt, I meant to say, Paige Van Zandt, was distracting the referee Aubrey Edwards to where can't remember who put the win for American Top Team. But basically, yeah, also involvement of Masvidal. I'm assuming I say his last name. Yeah, Masvidal. Who blindsides Jericho with a running knee strike, and then the cover on Jericho, and then and basically it was Scorpio Sky who covered him and got the win. After the match, a beatdown happened on the inner circle, basically on Chris Jericho in the ring, and Paige Van Zandt was basically taking a selfie and all that, and basically mocking Jericho and everything. American Top Teams being up on them, not all of them, but because you have Junior Del Santos was still laid out outside the ring. And Sammy Guevara, I don't know what happened to Sammy Guevara, but then all of a sudden we get Proud and Powerful coming out for the save. And this is how they're gonna really boost things up between two American Top Team versus Inner Circle by adding in Proud and Powerful of Santana and Ortiz. So yeah, things just got real there. But except for one thing. It's good that you got the Inner Circle back together and all that, going against the American Top Team of these guys. But you also got Paige Van Zandt. Paige Van Zandt, who's a woman, and she's good looking and hot. Just saying. But you got her there involved. You need a woman on your circle side to take care of her. Who better than Thunder Rosa? But we'll see. It depends if they want to go that route. But there you go. That was basically it for the show. We're into the buy-in. 3 matches were total amount. We're into the on TNT. Three more matches. Add them all together. 6 matches with the total amount wrestling for AEW Rampage. One half was on the buy-in, and the other half was on TNT. My role for the show. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. And there you go. And that being said, that will do for your AEW Rampage results from October 15th, 2021, which is the buy-in, and for the one on TNT. So, thank you all for watching for It's the Natural Scary Thriller, saying peace on the streets. For you to be well, stay safe, take care of yourself and everything that's going on in the world. Wear your mask, wear your gloves, love one another, God bless one another, live in peace and harmony for us all. Also, get your hands vaccinated and get vaccinated. Get your hands sanitized, I should say, and get vaccinated, I should say. But there you go. Be better, be respectful, be appreciative, and be show love at the end of the day. So I'm out here, folks. For ta-ta for now. Y'all take care. Haha, I gotcha there. I wasn't trying to scare you. But I forgot to mention one thing before I really close up. Is Amanda Huber, the widow of John Huber, Billy Lee, Luke Harper. So Amanda Huber, basically I saw this before Dynamite, no, not Dynamite, Rampage was going to be live. Like about maybe an hour beforehand, but basically I saw something on Amanda Huber's Instagram that she is all elite, which means she's working behind the scenes for AEW, which is great. For those who don't know, Amanda Huber used to be a wrestler. In fact, that's how Amanda and John first met in pro wrestling. They wrestled each other, and I don't know what happened from there afterwards, but from there they clicked and they love each other. They got married, they got kids, and yeah, Not much to say about that. But they made sure to do wrestling. So to all these people, and I'm not trying to say all you are, that subscribe to me, and for those who are just here to support me, and pertains to AEW. But for all those people, and these people don't know who I'm talking about. For all these people that's saying that it's tasteless that how AEW is doing this with with Brody Lee Jr., -1, and Amanda Huber being on TV and all that pertains to this whole thing, since after the death of Brody Lee, everything they've been doing, even though they haven't been doing that every week, they haven't even been doing that every month. Pertains to having Brody Lee Jr. Coming out there every month or every week, especially with Amanda Huber not having out there. You rarely even see Amanda Huber on TV. You rarely see that. Now pertains to Brody Lee Jr., you barely get to see him. Barely. Hell, you barely even get to see him on AEW Dark or Dark Elevations, where it tends to him doing the whole thing that he does with the Dark Order. Where it tends to the YouTube stuff, like Sam Guevara's vlog, and maybe the being the Elite. It's just a YouTube video. It's whatever. The main thing that people are always going to go after the AEW for is what they do on TV, and how they do and how they present it. It's tasteless and all that and blah blah blah. Even though WWE has done the same thing too. Let's not forget that about WWE, where it tends to make a wish with John Cena and blah blah blah, and with other cancer patients and all that. Let's not pretend that WWE doesn't do this type of shit too. But they're the ones they keep doing that shit. They're the one that keep explaining that shit all the time. Remember Stephanie McMahon's tweet? Philanthropy is the future of marketing. It's the only way that our teams will win. That's what thinks about how WWE should be marketed as, where it tends to philanthropy. That's a way to market these wrestlers, these talents to get over. You told me that's not tasteless, but what AEW was doing is tasteless. It's not tasteless when they're doing this type of shit. And again, they rarely do that shit. You don't see them constantly every week or every month, pulling over cancer patients and all that, and donate this and donate that, and just to exploit, our sake of exploiting. So, just want to say that pertains to anyone that has anything negative to say about AEW doing all this. Pertains to Amanda Huber, to sign with AEW. Think about this. She used to be in the wrestling business. She used to be a wrestler. So if she wants to be involved with the wrestling business of an AEW, from a company that treated Brody Lee with nothing but respect even after he died, at the end of the day, it's the family's business. And if you got nothing nice or anything positive to say about that, shut the fuck up. Like CM Punk said, if you don't like it, what AEW is doing, stop watching and shut the fuck up. And as I'm gonna say from there. So I'm happy that Amanda Huber is all elite with AEW. Whatever her role is, pertains to AEW, pertains behind the scene that she does. Hopefully she's doing what she can to contribute for AEW, especially pertains to maybe the whole thing with the Dark Order. Because maybe Wyndham Rotunda, the former Bray Wyatt's gonna be coming in. Pertains to the whole Dark Order thing. Maybe, who knows? At the end, even if that's not the case, doesn't matter at the end of the day. As long as she do whatever she can to do to contribute, where it tends to what her role is going to be. And I think that's great that they have someone like Amanda Huber, who's been shared a lot of information where it tends to where Brody has learned a lot in AEW, and not just for AEW, but it tends to everything that he's been in the promotions like in WWE and other promotions like a Ring of Honor and PWG and whatever have you. So, especially with Amanda Huber, who I can't remember how long she stopped wrestling, but and there's a reason why for it too. She gave birth to 2 beautiful boys. So, yeah, not much to say other than good for Amanda Huber and the other thing, the family of the Huber family are being taken care of at the end of the day. They're in good hands of the promotion that's giving us personal fans, a show that we're going to be proud of and to give us what we want. So, That's all I want to say for that. Now, get out here. Now you all can take care.